Well, a very
Hey, that's pretty good.
well, a very good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. I'm DJ Sean, and welcome through to my first ever FS 2020 stream and a return to Flight Sim streaming after about 2 years. It's been quite a long time since I've streamed Flight Sim 2020. A very warm welcome to all of you. I hope you're having a fantastic week. A bit tired. I was up late and doing, I don't know, maybe downloading something, but hey, Tank. Tank, thanks so much for continuing your Fight and Flight Club subscription 4 months, brother. Thank you so very, very much. Well, today is the 18th and FS 2020 was released at midnight my time. Up till midnight downloading and I think it finished from what crypto tells me about 3:30 in the morning, up about 4 a.m. for a little bit of a play. And then reminded myself that I really need to go back to sleep, and was up obviously this afternoon having a bit more of a play and a bit more of a look at Flight Sim 2020. If you've been living under a rock for about I don't know, a couple of months there, Flight Sim 2020 has dropped, and I think it is now released worldwide. I think it's pretty much done now. I don't think there's anywhere that doesn't have it now. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think we're pretty much fully released now, which is probably explains why the forums have fallen over at this point in time. The forums were starting to explode there about 2 hours ago, and unfortunately they fell over. And I think some people actually reported that as soon as they fell over, they actually got an increase in their download speed. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Maybe they're throwing more resources or turning off the forum servers or something like that. But definitely looks like the system can't cope. But warm welcome to all of you. Today we will be talking about this guy, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. This stream is part of 3 streams this week, taking a more in-depth look at Flight Sim 2020. Perhaps there's some people in this chat that are a little bit on the fence. They're a bit of a hardcore X-Plane user, much like myself, and they're not sure whether Flight Sim 2020 is for you. Some people are probably already have purchased it and are still downloading. I know there's a couple of those in the Discord and the chat right now. Today's stream is going to have a look at peeling back some of the covers of Flight Sim 2020 to have a little bit more of an in-depth look at how this plays on my PC. Hey. Oh68, thank you so much for continuing your sub with the Fight and Flight Club. 4 months. Thanks very much, buddy. I really very much appreciate it. So we are going to peel back the covers on Flight Sim 2020 tonight. You're going to see my Flight Sim 2020 looking a little bit different to probably what you've seen. I have gone tweaking, I've gone fiddling, I've gone pulling things apart, and my sim's going to look a little bit different to what you've seen on a lot of the streams to date. We are going to take a deep dive into some of the settings. We're going to have a look at the weather, and one thing I probably better do is put up a little bit of what we're actually going to do tonight. So we are going to have a look at that performance and FPS. Let's face it, a lot of us, we chase that golden number of FPS. For me, it's kind of 60. Good luck. We're going to have a look at weather and settings. We're going to go through and have a look at some of the settings. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later on. We're going to have a look at behind the scenes in terms of the file structure and where stuff is placed if you need to go looking. Things like where the Sim Connect config files are, where the settings files are for the sim, where the scenery cache and things you can do with it, as well as looking at the dev tools and the SDK a little bit later on. Hey, got Spunk. Godfuck, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Today I've got my track IR ready if I need it. My track IR actually doesn't fit on my my headset. The way they've designed this headset, it's very, very thick with the SteelSeries headsets, and I'm actually going to have to try and jam it into somewhere between my head and see if that works, but we'll see. I've got my Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog here on the desk. You can see my throttles just here. Haven't flown with one of these guys for quite some time. People that know the channel well know that I fly with my VR controllers. The Oculus Rift S has been put away for today's stream. Yes, I don't think that'll be showing its head or showing its face for a little while in regards to FS 2020. Hey, Jam Kicker as well, Dan. The FAA minimum FPS for these sims is 20. So if you have more than that, you are okay. All right, well, there's 20. I think 20 is also the magic number there for that sim as well. I know us X-Plane pilots, we have issues there when we get under 20. We get booted from the network. Not sure what's going to happen there for FS 2020. I wonder if that works the same way as prepared, but we'll do some testing of that in the upcoming streams. Before we do jump in the flight deck and have a little bit of a look around FS 2020, tomorrow night we are going bush flying. This is an open invitation to anyone that wants to come with us. Those details The Judge, hello buddy, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the follow. Tomorrow night we are doing some bush flying. I think we're still working out the particulars. It will be around this similar time. We've actually started streaming about 15 minutes early tonight, so around this time tomorrow in about 24 hours or so, maybe 25 hours depending on how people are going. We're going to be doing a bush fly on the sim using the inbuilt multiplayer to show off some of the features of that, followed by our Thursday night stream where we will be live on the VATSIM network. At the moment, I'm planning to fly the 787. Don't know how that's going to go. Hey Doug, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the chat. Anyone that might be interested in participating in that event or just jumping on a really good Discord with heaps of great people, that's the link in the chat for the Discord. Before we do get going, if at any time you've kind of want to look at the stats for seats to gauge the performance that you're kind of seeing, if you just do !specs SPECS in the chat, you should get my specs sent through as a text message to you. Pist Pilot Digital, use the second loop on the pin in your track eye. It will fit the Steel Series headsets. Sure. Sure, whatever you say, mate. Whatever you say. I don't really know what you're talking about, but that's okay. Let's go jump in the sim and let's start having a look at FS 2020. Alrighty guys, so you're going to see something that's a little bit different in regards to the stream tonight. That bar down the side and a little bit of an interesting top menu here that I've got in the sim. Developer mode is activated tonight and we have got the FPS counter on the right. You can see there in green. The FPS counter at the top, or that whole section at the top above the core information you can see about halfway down, is all inbuilt into FS 2020. You can get to it by putting it into developer mode. I'll touch on that in just a few minutes, or actually probably a little bit later in the stream. But this will show you where your limiting factors are, which is really, really cool. Getting 135 to 140 FPS here in the sim at the moment, and what I want to talk to you about is exactly that. So a lot of people who are streaming and encoding on the same machine that they're flying on. That doesn't really represent the true performance of the sim, because you're already taking 10, 15, and in some people's cases 20% performance away from either your CPU or your GPU. So I have all this offloaded to a dedicated streaming PC doing all my encoding. So what you're seeing with those specs in the chat is the performance I am getting in the sim in the real world. We might take a hit of 1 or 2 FPS due to developer mode, but from my testing, it's pretty much on par. Hey, Bert Nuts, welcome to the stream there, buddy. So you're getting 147 FPS in the menu at the moment. That's pretty exciting, but that's no indication of what we're actually going to get in the sim. So we're going to pop ourselves over in to the world map here. We're going to fly the Baron, the Beechcraft Baron, the G58. Just a little bit of a tip of a hat to Dom there, who is a big fan of the Baron here. I think it's quite a nice aircraft. I would have preferred the one without the G1000, but we're just going to have to deal with it however we do. You're in the wrong category on Twitch, by the way. All right, bud. Thank you for the feedback. Let's go for a quick check here at LaGuardia. Jesus, it sounds like I'm ordering something in a restaurant. What we're going to do is we're going to punch the time out to daylight here, and we're just going to take off in the Baron from LaGuardia. I just did it again. Okay, let's zoom for details here. We'll just take off from there and we'll do some flying around, and I'll show you some of the performance here as well. Alrighty, so the good old sim loading up now. It does like to have a couple of pauses here in the menu while it's loading up. One of the things I do want to point you to at the moment is 240 down to 28 is I have got the download and upload metrics running as well, so you can kind of see what the sim's doing in regards to downloading scenery. So that's just at the bottom here in the corner. You see download just here, and you see upload here in kilobytes per second. Working our way up, there's the GTX 1080 Ti and how hard it's working. Then we get a summary graph for the i7 8700K, and then I've broken it down by the cores, so you can kind of see how it's playing across the entire CPU rather than just looking at a summary graph and going, oh yeah, my CPU's at 60% or 80%. You actually get to see what it's actually doing. And then working our way up there, you kind of see this is the dedicated stuff that's inbuilt with Flight Sim 2020 in regards to its performance calculations. So I haven't shown you my settings at the moment, so this is probably looking a little bit irrelevant. All we'll do is we'll get here on the runway and get ready to go. So let's have a quick look at our settings before we get started. So into the general menu here, and we are running them on high end. So there are a number of options you can set, starting at low end, working your way up into medium, into high end, and then into ultra. So what we might do is we might just sit here and just do a bog standard, not going to touch the sim, just look down the runway, and we'll put ourselves onto the low end settings. We'll apply and save those, and we'll have a look at our performance. Okay. So I'm not going to, I might just turn the volume up of FS 2020 a little bit, but we're not going to change our view or anything like that, even though I think we've got someone landing right in front of us in an A320neo. We just want to have a look here and show you some of these settings here without adjusting anything. So at the moment, just looking down the runway here, we're getting about 60 FPS, 65 FPS once it sorts itself out. The download looks to have stabilized too, not too badly down there at the bottom of the performance information. When we start flying around, you'll definitely see that thing start to increase. I think old mate's going to crash in front of us on the runway here. This could be interesting. Alrighty, let's go up here to the next setting now and go to medium. We'll go apply and save, and we'll go back. Just let it render here for a second. Hey, Peanut, welcome to the stream, buddy. Oh God, I'm not going to move my view here. I'm just going to have a look at an A320neo coming screaming for us with no landing gear. Okay, there we go. With that model out of the way now, we might just have a look at those FPS there. Looking pretty stable there, around 60 FPS. Let's go up one more. We'll go from medium to high end. This is where I typically play. Go ahead, back that out. We haven't got them in the ground buff, so that's a start. We've kind of got that no landing gear problem in X-Plane at the moment, so maybe it goes far bigger than X-Plane. Maybe it's just a sim thing. Okay, so that next setting shaved off about 8 FPS. All right, let's go to the final setting, and I'm not going to adjust, even though Hampus, I get what you're saying. I'm just going to go through the presets. Excuse me. At the moment, we're not going to touch on any of the settings there that we can adjust above and beyond that. All right, there is the ultra settings as well. So it doesn't look like most of those settings, most of those last two setting changes in regards to the high end and the ultra do much when you're on the runway. I imagine that's going to do a fair bit here when we start getting around New York and having a look. In terms of the VSync, we have got VSync on. We can go through and have a look and turn that off as well. We've got no lock, although the 60 FPS lock there as well. Some settings require a restart of the PC, but a restart of the PC? I don't see how that could work. Sim, not PC. Okay. I reckon, hey buddy, welcome to the stream. There goes a TBM. So what setting have we got now? We've got the high end. We'll go back to ultra with the VSync off. We'll just sit here on the runway here for a little bit. So my PC is definitely doing something. I can hear my CPU fans revving up here quite a bit. Limited by main thread. Interesting. I have seen limited by GPU when I've been running or been loading the sim. So are you streaming from the same PC? No, I'm not. DJ, hey buddy, welcome. Yeah, buddy, 3 hours is what it took, 3 hours. Alrighty, so it looks like it's stabilized now about 44 FPS. We might just drop back to high-end settings here. We'll leave VSync off for now, and we'll apply those settings and just see what we get going back here. All right, so we're kind of where we were roughly, around about the 50s. Well, it's dropping away a little bit. The 50s there. It's definitely stabilizing. It's definitely doing something when you change those settings, when it's refreshing something in the sim, because the numbers drop away quite a bit and then they come up and stabilize. Been downloading for 5.5 hours and only at 70 gigabyte. Deep Sun, you've only got what, 23 gig to go now? Alrighty. Well, we'll go through some of the development options and the developer settings in the dev mode here towards the end of the stream. We'll go ahead and just get airborne now and have a little bit of a look around. So let's go down here. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of the parking brake. We'll turn that guy on here. We'll put a stage of flap down. And off we go. Okay, so now that you can actually talk about it and not give a YouTube personality perspective, how is this so as far as simming? Sorry, helps if I can read. It's interesting. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Let's just get airborne and let's go find New York. Joe, do you know how to create an icon for FS 2020? I can't tell you. I can't say that I did. I do have Joe actually. Let's get airborne. We're airborne coming out of New York. There's New York off to our left. Oh, look, it's the Sydney Harbour Bridge. They've got one in New York, but we don't have one in Australia. Deep beside, and we're on the high-end settings at the moment. We're going to do a lap at the city on this setting here at the moment, which is probably the one I'll stick with, and then we'll go up and change the settings around once we get up here. It looks like everyone's got the same idea as me. Yeah, we still don't have a harbour bridge. They got a harbour bridge down here, but we don't have a harbour bridge in Australia. Maybe they can just borrow that one and just zoom it out or stretch it out a little bit. Yeah, some of those bridges are looking a bit nasty. So that is other players. Yeah, that's other players using the in-game multiplayer. We might just pull the power back here a notch. I don't want to blow up Dom's shiny new Baron here as we look over Central Park. No issues installing there, Joe. So a reminder that I am not encoding on this PC. This PC is simply running Flight Sim 2020. If you are interested in my specs, ! SPECS specs in the chat to get the breakdown on the sim. Should have gone to Specsavers. Yeah, Harry, hello, Harry75, and that's something. Thank you for reminding me. That's something I should have touched on before we started. I am running the Nvidia released driver. FYI, I saw no performance improvement whatsoever running it. It's up to you whether you want to do it. I'm not a huge fan of the trim settings in this in the sim. I kind of feel like if you do a single click of the trim or multiple single clicks, it's not enough. Whereas you do you press and you hold the trim, it really trims it. And it's kind of we're kind of missing a bit of a sweet spot here. All right, we might turn around here a little bit and have a little bit of a more of a look. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a bit of a circle of New York here and play with our settings a little bit. So we are running the high-end settings here at the moment. This is typically, I think, is kind of my sweet spot on my system. It's around 40 FPS, in some situations 50. Again, the sky condition is clear. We'll add some weather in here after we do a couple of laps with these settings, and we'll see just what sort of performance impact clouds are having. I've got to say though, you know, we talk about 40 FPS. Well, in X-Plane, we probably would only be getting 40 FPS here, and in some cases, with a lot of weather, we'd probably be down to 30. So, given the fact we've got a lot more eye candy here and volumetric 3D clouds, and the lighting's really good, yeah, this is about on par with my expectations. The concern for me is there are situations here where the sim does not run smoothly. We are in a light twin. If we were doing this in a 787, it would be a completely different story. And I just worry about how that combination goes with something like a HP Reverb version 2, and that's got a 4K or two 4Ks, two 2K resolution. I think that's got 4 combined, I think. I wonder how that's going to go. That's a hell of a lot of detail. Look at all those buildings. Like, that's impressive in itself. Mind you, that all the trees are about 15 stories high, but that's okay. So just a reminder there on the downloads, the absolute bottom of our stats there on the right-hand side, just above the RAM in pink or purple, you will see the upload and download stats for how it's going. As you can see here, it's remaining pretty low at the moment. There's a couple of peaks and troughs there where it goes up to about 5 megasecond, but not very often. Alrighty, I think we've done our first lap here at high end. Let's go to ultra and see what happens. Okay, we're going to go to ultra. We're going to click apply and save. And we're going to go back out of the sim. Alrighty, we'd let the sim stabilize for a little bit. We did get this when we changed settings initially. We've got a bit of a sim doing some work here. You can tell my CPU's it was ramped up while it's doing some stuff. It's probably thinking or readjusting some settings here. And I think after a good 10 or 15 seconds, it starts to stabilize. Someone's doing the same thing, same city orbit in a TBM just there. All right, so we're down into the mid 20s here, which is probably very much out of my sweet spot. I think mid 40s is about as far down as I want to go. Having said that, we're in a light twin. We're not in a 787 doing this, and we've got no weather, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this looks when we start introducing things like that. Pixel, hello. There are 2 settings not switched to Ultra, which can be maxed. Also, DJ Sean. Oh, thanks, Pixel. I appreciate it. I'll. Do you happen to know what they're off by heart? What is all this on the right? So what is on the right is some inbuilt development tools for the sim. This is the sim's FPS counter and talking to you about how much RAM you're using. Below that is some stuff that I've introduced talking about the CPUs and our download and upload as well as the RAM being used. Daddy, hello, how is it to fly in an arcade game? Was there much messing about mapping your controls? Deep Poseidon, no. It did pick up my Thrustmaster Warthog. It has a nice image of it, much like X-Plane does. I'll go through it in a little bit when we talk about the settings and stuff, but setting controls is just a pain in the ass. For me, this is again my opinion. I've never liked it. Unfortunately, hey... I've never been a huge fan of it. Unfortunately, I can't talk about the alpha or the beta, but from what I've experienced so far to date, now just having the sim for a few hours, it's a bit messy. It needs work. It could be simpler. Hello to all the new followers. I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you so much and welcome to the stream. A firm, yeah, we have got a cache set up, absolutely, and yeah, there you go. You can see it downloading at the moment. We're downloading quite a bit compared to the last orbit, so it's probably downloading all these textures in higher definition and downloading what we would call the ortho in X-Plane. But for us now, I guess it's the scenery tiles or the satellite scenery tiles for Flight Sim 2020. I'm just going to make sure I don't run into any buildings here as we get a bit of a close look at that. Looks like it's falling down. Hey, Robbie, welcome. We have got Track IR available tonight. I'm not using it because we're kind of in this left-hand orbit here while we have a look at New York in all the glory of Ultra settings here, in the Ultra preset settings. Will you still continue streaming XP? You bet your ass I will. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alrighty, guys, what we might do is we might go to the opposite end of the spectrum now, and let's bring the settings way down low. Let's go to the absolute lowest settings here and have a look at what that looks like in the sim. Alrighty. Wow, you can see straight away there is definitely a texture change in all these buildings here, and that the FPS is shot back up again. We've added about 20 FPS to our frame rate, and I imagine it's probably going to creep up a little bit more as the sim sort of readjusts itself. There you go, we're up into the 50s now. There's definitely some work it does there for the first few seconds when you change some things, and you can see some of those buildings just turning into pyramids now, and those textures being washed out, and we can no longer really see a lot of detail on the other side of the river. So there is a fairly big change when you go to low settings. The FPS, we're up into the mid 50s now. Oh, Taddy, really? Alrighty, let's go up here and we'll go to medium. And then once we return to high end here, we will go and put some weather in. So just going to medium, there was a fairly big improvement in the textures here up close. That really fixed up the crispness of the textures of these buildings. I don't know if anyone else caught that. Again, we start to lose a lot of that level of detail a bit further on as well. Yeah, Hampus, I wasn't able to represent, when I was doing some initial testing there before, I wasn't able to say that with 100% certainty. I had similar performance whether I had it on or off, though I need to put more work into that to validate that statement, because I think you're right, but my testing, just quickly, mind you, my quick testing that I did didn't reveal any difference. I've got to fix these bridges here. Alrighty, so yeah, the medium setting seems to be going pretty well. We're still maintaining 50 to mid 50s here. Let's go back to our old faithful, the high end settings. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to put some weather in now and see how that plays out in the sim. So we're just going to continue here with our orbit just for a minute. Let's let the sim stabilize a little bit. Let's all get familiar with the FPS we're kind of getting now, and then we'll start introducing some weather. No, Daddy. I've been in the sim probably a total of about an hour and a half, so still a lot to check out. Okay, so high's holding its own. It's not too bad. Have a bit of a look down that way. What are we getting? About 45, 40. Loving the level of detail down through here. This is going to be a fantastic chopper sim. Absolutely brilliant. Alrighty, let's go chuck some weather into the sim now. So we're going to go here. We're going to put one of the presets. We're going to go to a few clouds. We're sitting around about 40 to 45 FPS. Those clouds look brilliant. These clouds look absolutely amazing in some light, and then they look like a giant ash cloud or a giant volcano, or someone's emptied the vacuum cleaner on the floor. When they have that real grey look to them, that real grey look, but these look absolutely amazing. Right now, you could almost pick those as real clouds. All right, so there wasn't a huge impact on performance with just a couple of clouds around. Let's pick up the pace here and we'll go to broken clouds now. So we're sitting around 40s, mid 40s. Let's go to broken. Whoa. Uh-oh. Well, there we go. The sim just had a small heart attack there for a second. Looking... yeah, Pixel, I can't possibly comment. Just a reminder, if we do have anyone in the stream here that had the privilege, like I did, to be an alpha and beta tester, the NDA still does apply, and you can't talk about those previous builds at all. You can't talk about them, can't post photos about them, can't discuss them at all. So, yeah, I don't know if the clouds are taking much performance from us. Maybe a little bit. Definitely throwing us around a little bit more. I don't know if everyone's getting a bit of a crook neck here from looking to the left here. Wow, that looks really pretty. That looks amazing. Probably getting a little bit high over here in the turn. We're just going to pull ourselves back out a little bit and just adjust ourselves. We come out of the climb, the aircraft's going to want to, sorry, out of the turn, the aircraft's going to want to climb up. Looking very, very nice. What I might do is I might just raise the cloud layer here a little bit. And we might go to the next stage, which is overcast. Yeah, overcast looks like it's much of a similar thing here. What can overclocking a PC do? It can give you more for FPS, but it depends on what the limiting factor is. So up the top right under the FPS counter, you're seeing that the sim is telling me with its own inbuilt development tool and FPS counter that I'm limited by main thread. I guess I'm limited overall by the main thread of this, and my take on that is when we talk about main threads, I think I'm limited by my CPU here. I haven't seen limited by GPU here, so I think this is all mostly CPU limitation. But if there's anyone else there in the chat that perhaps has a different take on that, I'm all ears. Yeah, DJ, I can definitely have a look at that. Alrighty, now that we've got something in cloud, we might just step it up in regards to our settings here. We're going to go to Ultra now and go apply and save and just see what sort of impact clouds have with Ultra settings. So we were around the 40, the mid 40s before. We're down into the 25, the low 20s. Wow, we dipped under 20 then. We're down to 19. We'll let the sim work itself out there for a minute or two. Always takes a couple of seconds here, and we're back up into the 30s. So there's a pretty significant hit here with some clouds. What I might do here real quickly is just get rid of the clouds here for a second. We're just going to go clear sky. So we're sitting about 34, 30. Pretty consistent. Maybe we're getting another 2 FPS.
What is it?
It's the little room in the front of the plane where the pilots sit. That's not important right now.
Affy, hello, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Do you wish you had that i9 now? No, I'm skipping the generation, Leroy, so we'll get the next one when it comes out in the 3000 series. So our current settings are 1920 by 1080. We're actually a little bit under that because of the development toolbar is squishing us a little bit. You can see the current resolution just underneath the FPS in the top right-hand corner. Would you recommend limiting your FPS? Well, if you can smooth out the sim and it glides, especially when you're moving your camera around, that's definitely something that could help you with that. In terms of just doing it for any old reason, I don't see why you need to. We might just go to scattered clouds here. What's this doing for our performance? Doesn't it look like the clouds are really adding a huge amount? I don't know if you guys can see through there. There is a little bit of... they call it, and I've seen this being referenced before in X-Plane, you get that sort of pixelation effect through the clouds. It's just the way that they render them. Yeah, it definitely can. If you overclock it too high, you can definitely kill it. The thing that kills CPU is V-core. The higher the CPU V-core, the more heat you're generating, the more stress you're putting on it, and heat is bad. Barbs, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, mate, it's a little bit lost. It's where is it? The Sydney Harbour Bridge should be just off to our right here, somewhere. Or is it behind? The Sydney Harbour Bridge is just there, mate. It's just there. Alrighty, let's have a little bit of a look at the weather here. We've got... All right, let's swing ourselves back round to the left here. Why can't I hear your plane? Because that's as loud as it is. It's as loud as it goes. Yeah, it's not very loud. The Statue of Liberty. Someone's gonna have to point out where I go to find it. Hey, New Test Lever, welcome to the stream. Alrighty, let's have as we work our way back here now, we are on the ultra settings. Let's have a look at what time does to our FPS. So we've had a look at all the different versions, I don't know how to move forward. I might just go like this and cheat. We've had a look at all the different graphic settings and what they do in terms of our frame rate. Let's now have, and we've also done the same with our weather. Let's have a look at what time does to our frame rate. So what we might do is we'll start here on ultra. We'll just check our settings and make sure we're being consistent. So we've got ultra as our setting, our preset we've got for this test. And we'll go ahead and start it now. So we've got some cloud. We've got, what have we got here? We've got scattered clouds. And we're going to grab this guy. We're just going to pause there for a second because this is going to look really fucking amazing. Yeah, wow. Wow, wow, wee, wow. Oh, look, we've got another sim pause. Ba, 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 ba. There we go. We're back. That looks amazing. VSP, the overlay you see in the top right-hand corner is from the sim itself. The CPU one you see it below it is not. Ugh. I'm getting a bit distracted here because I don't know about you guys, but that almost looks real. Yeah, the screens in the FPS are the killer. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty exciting stuff, that, I've got to say. Alrighty, let's go ahead and into nighttime now. Yep, we got another sim lock up. Master, I can't do that really because I've got a widescreen, so I've got to run this in windowed mode. So night mode really hasn't done much of an impact to our performance here. We're still around those mid 30s here in the ultra settings. Let's go knock it back a bit now and see what changes my typical sweet spot around high end gives us. So the sim's going to have a heart attack here for the first little bit while it sorts itself out, and we should be looking for an FPS over around 30 to 35. First patch will be 50 gigs. Maybe. All right, so now that it's stabilized, we're back into the 40s. It looks like nighttime might net us some more FPS. So yeah, I'm thinking that high end might be my sweet spot for flying on my system. A reminder, if you are after the specs for this system, you can just type in !specs in the chat there. Hopefully that worked there. Ah, we've got specs on a cooldown. I'll override it for you. There you go. Deep side, I haven't tried snow yet. We can definitely have a look. Alrighty, let's have a look here at nighttime with lower settings now. So we've gone from high end. We're around about the mid 40s. Let's go down to medium. Okay, we'll give the sim a minute or so just to sort itself out. It definitely does stuff when you change settings. Okay, and we're now into the high 40s, low 50s now here for medium at night. It's definitely working all the CPU threads there, which is nice to see. It's nice. It's very, very refreshing to see that, you know, core 0 and 1 aren't getting totally maxed out and the other cores are kind of idling away. You can definitely see just how hard the CPU is working to do all this. And that's exactly what we want. I overclock my PC. I've got fast stuff. Flight Sim, use everything it's got. Just take it all. Hashtag no lube. Just take all my resources and give me really solid performance. Hey Gavin, welcome to the stream. Hello. Traffic lights, yeah, you can see the traffic lights from on the for cars on the ground. I have seen cars. Maybe they're not so prominent in this. They've definitely got traffic lights for the AI as well as multiplayer at night. So master, all I did was download the sim and spawn here. That's all I've done. Alrighty, let's we're sitting there around 52 FPS. Let's go down to the low end setting now, and we'll give the sim a second just to sort itself out. And out we come. We should be looking for anything over the 50 mark, 52, somewhere over that. Okay, we're getting pretty similar performance that we got before there. So 52, occasionally going up to 54. A firm, yes, 777. I did get the Nvidia Flight Sim 2020 driver. I noticed no performance improvement whatsoever. Additional other Garmin units like the G1000, anywhere near as good as the X-Plane counterparts. Lewis, they are G1000s. I'll take an X-Plane G1000 any day of the week. This is the released version of the G1000. It needs a lot of work. FSX Simmer, hello buddy, thank you so much for the follow, welcome. All right. Might go outside and have a little bit of a look. So what we might do is we might change our settings back to our high-end settings, which is kind of where I think my sweet spot is. We'll click. Uh-oh, maybe we won't be clicking. My sim's locked up again. Colin 81818, hello buddy, welcome to the stream. So I'm not too sure if this is the sim locking up or it's because we've got development mode on. You're going to notice my sim's going to be looking a little bit different to what you've previously seen. We've got a couple of different menus up the top here and things like that. All right, let's go to the external camera. Oh, wow, that's louder. We might do, let's just bring the time up a little bit. Virtual Pilot, are you? Hello, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Just PPL FSX simmer. Hey. Alrighty. Let's go back to the main menu. Is this a good PC? The i5 9400F, 2.9 gigahertz. That's a bit low, buddy, and a 1660 Ti. Oh, it's okay. You won't be getting the performance that I'm getting here. This is a pretty good reference for obviously my PC. Deep aside, the camera system is a little bit fiddly. I think they've tried to make a really nice camera experience, but they've complicated it in the same way. I think X-Plane camera system is simple. It's good. It works. I think selfishly they could have just copied that, and we would have all been pretty happy. I have a 1080p computer for this with a 2080 i7. Think I will really notice stuff getting a monitor? Triple7, getting a monitor? Not really sure what you mean. Yeah, that probably won't run too bad there. FSX, 50k flight players right now downloading. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Jetta, welcome. Okay, guys, let's have a little bit more of a look around the sim. So one of the things I wanted to touch on real quickly is the general settings here. And if we go all the way down here, you've got developer mode. Developer mode will give you this lovely extra menu just here, and you can get things like the FPS counter in the top right hand corner, which is just this guy just here, and you get a whole bunch of extra stuff to troubleshoot your sim. You can play around with ground textures, turning them on and off. You can load models. You can work out your PBR lighting. You can put lens distortion on. You can go to wireframe mode, which we kind of can't really see behind us. We've gone to wireframe mode in the sim behind us just here, and a couple of other bits and pieces as well. You can go through your world objects and look at stuff like that. You can disable crashes, so you're overstressing the aircraft and things like that. You can disable that, pause the sim, and a couple of other things as well. And this is also where you can start editing stuff through the SDK. Before we get into that though, let's have a little bit of a chat about where this game, or where the sim saves a lot of its settings. So if we go back to our options menu, go to our general menu, you've got your suite of all your settings down the left hand side here. We're going to work our way down to data. Data is where we're going to go. Okay, so what have we done? All we have done, I've actually cleared out my cache before I started the sim tonight to show you flying around New York from LaGuardia. We've done 3 gig of data. 3 gig of data, just doing city orbits and taking off from LaGuardia. So if you've got slow internet, if you've got data caps and things like that, I don't know, we've been streaming for what? We've been streaming for 58 minutes, and we've probably been, flying maybe 30 minutes of that, maybe 40 minutes of that. So 40 minutes, 2.92 gigabytes there. You can set bandwidth limits and things like that to help you out if you are on a cap, and you can set the rolling cache size and things like that as well. One of the things I do want to talk about is the rolling cache path, because this little guy under its default settings takes you to this window just here. Whoops, I probably didn't want to do that. This guy, sorry guys, let me just minimize everything. That guy just there. Where did you go? Just there. So it takes you to this page, this section here, and this is where I think, and I preface this by saying I think this is where this stuff is located because I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. Those of you that have been around FSX and for that fact prepared 3D will see some familiar names here. The SimConnect XML file, if we go there and have a little bit of a look at that, well, we don't want to edit it in a WordPad, we'll edit it in something far nicer. Notepad+++, or sorry, I gave it one too many pluses. You can see there's our SimConnect file just there, looking like the real SimConnect file that I've used before. So that's looking pretty good. And we've also got a couple of other things as well. The flight simulator config file. This thing looks familiar from the FSX and Prepared 3D days. So it looks like they use maybe something similar there, where you've got all the settings here that you can fiddle with as well. 140 FPS in the menu. Yeah, yeehaw. Leviticus, hey buddy, welcome to the stream. When I installed mine, it asked me for an install folder outside of the main hard drive. And I have every folder easily found. Yes, so I've done that as well. I'll show you guys. So I haven't installed, even though it's storing its stuff in app data local packages, some crazy ass flight simulator name, I've actually gone and saved my stuff I've created a folder there in the root directory of my hard drive, FS 2020, and there is all the bits and pieces for FS 2020 you can see just there. So you can install it wherever you like. That's no real big problem. But the default settings, from what I've been able to find, live in this folder just here. And you can actually get to this folder here just by clicking on this guy just here, and he'll take you to that folder where you can see all the settings and have a look just there. So how can we tweak it? Yeah, I guess that's where it's going to start, is people wanting to tweak it as well. The flight model, if anyone hasn't seen it, this is the modern flight model. You can go back to the good old days of Legacy. Drew91, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the chat. You can go back to the legacy FSX mode way of doing things. We definitely don't want to live there. We definitely want to live in the modern flight model settings right there. How do you pre-download? I don't think you could pre-download. I've just had to. I just downloaded it from midnight midnight this morning, my time, when it was released. Jerry, first time watcher, like your content. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. If you've got any questions, please shout out. If you're wondering what the specs are, there they are. And if you're wondering if you want to have a little look at Millie, let's go get a Millie. I am joined on the flight deck today by my two little puggles. I've got little Millie here in my arms. Is that right, little Mill? Right. She watches over me, make sure I'm doing all right. Is that right, little darling? And she's joined by her brother, Charlie, just behind me, just here. There he is. Get the seat out of the way, just sitting there in his little bed watching over me as well there. Even artist, hello buddy, welcome to the stream. Wag, yep, Gen X Stream, okay buddy, welcome to this stream. Okie dokie, what else have we got here? Your languages and things like that. The graphic settings we've been through, the camera options. You've got a stack of camera options and things like that. Sound settings. You can simulate radio distortion. I think it's the radio distortion of the inbuilt text-to-speech AI. I haven't had much of a play around with that at the moment. In terms of the traffic, that's your traffic settings here in the menu. You've got your data settings, which we've been through. Your MISC settings, that's your languages and things like that. Your accessibility, text sizes, and show tooltips. There it is. I think that's what I've turned off, is show tooltips. I don't like these things popping up when I put my hand over a switch. I know what it is. Does capping FPS mean less strain on the PC? It can, yes, definitely. VSync can definitely help out if your GPU is getting a little bit warm, trying to punch above its weight there. Alrighty, let's discard those settings there. In terms of assistance, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We've seen these settings before in terms of Flight Sim 2020. In terms of Flight Sim, the aids that we've seen in FSX and Prepared, I have them all on hard, which is basically turn everything off and just fly your aeroplane. In terms of controls. Okay, so this is where things get a little bit interesting. I might just go ahead now and disable the FPS setting here. So you've got your keyboard settings and everything there. You've got your mouse, you've got your HOTAS for my joystick. Of course, my core stuff's in the way there. It looks pretty straightforward. You've got your rudder pedals there. I've got the pendular rudder system just there. If you're looking at doing something like presets, you have got a preset manager where you can save presets and copy and paste them and move them around and back them up. I haven't played with that as yet. DJ, any ideas of model matching for vPilot? No, there's nothing yet available, mate. Nothing yet available. And we are seeing a lot of people having issues with SimConnect. Anything tying into SimConnect has been heavily reducing people's performance. So one of the other things I want to show you, you guys as well, is the sensitivity. So you can set dead zones, you can set your sensitivity and put a curve in your axes. That's what I do for my rudder pedals, and I also do the same for my brakes as well, just to smooth them out a little bit. If you don't do this stuff, the rudder is really, really sensitive on the default aircraft. Going down the runway, even in something like the 787, is pretty touchy. So sensitivity and bringing that back into the negatives definitely helps you out, getting the rudder under control. Okay, before we dive into the dev menu and I really rip the covers off of FS 2020, let's do a similar flight again. There's LaGuardia, there's a lot of aircraft coming in. We might just go to runway 4 here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change up the aircraft. Let's go jump in a jet. Let's jump in something like the 787. Okay, we'll jump in the 787. Let's have a look at the weight and balance. Anyone that's eagle eye here or does not fly in the United States will pick up that we have no metric weights. It's gallons or pounds. I won't refer to any part of the alpha or the beta, just to say that I'm extremely disappointed in the release version that we don't have metric weights. That in hectopascals, we don't have the ability to change the G1000 to hectopascals from an altimeter, which is very, very disappointing. I'm sure there is a logical reason for why these things were missed. I just can't figure out why. I think they said kilograms is coming. Yep. And I'm sure it is. To me, that kind of, and this is my opinion, it's a fundamental, it's just a foundational option. It's something that the sim should have. My voice is starting to give out on me. I'm getting so emotional from not having kilos. No, that's not the case, but it is a little bit annoying. I'm not going to lie. You get your typical failures options here and your ATC options there. You can put your tail number, call sign, flight number. That's nice. You can append heavy there as well. Get one in here and show tail number as well. So you can do a couple of little things there for the inbuilt ATC, which I think is a nice feature as well. Because the US Army, Air Force, even the Coast Guard use Metrable. There you go. There you go. Alrighty, we might load ourselves on the runway there. While we're loading in, I'm just going to go get some water. I'll be back in just a sec, guys. I'm emotional for not having kilograms. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know how that That's possible. But anyway, let's go ahead and turn the FPS display on there. Really working that CPU hard as we load back in. Doing a little bit of downloading as well, which is interesting. I've seen that spike up to a couple of megs a second there while it's while we're loading in. Obviously, not caching every little bit, but a lot of that, I guess, would also be multiplayer traffic. True. Looking very, very nice, the 787. Okay. Let's give the sim a second to stabilize here, because we're on the high end settings here now. So we're on those settings that I thought was the sweet spot for a light twin. We're now in the 787. Yeah, the 800 gig case should be enough to really last. All right, I think the sim's stabilized. We're sitting about 30 FPS here on the high-end settings. All right, so let's run a bit of a similar test here that we did in the Baron. Let's go up to Ultra. We'll go apply those settings. We'll come out of the menu here, and then we'll do low end and medium as well. So we're just going to give the sim a second to sort itself out. The usage percentage seems really good, Pete. Yeah, I agree. Look at that. It's smashing my CPU, and I'm all for it. Go nuts. Like, my CPU is getting up to 90 degrees there. Yeehaw, girlfriend. But yeah, the performance. So it looks like it's kind of stabilizing now. We're about 30 FPS here on the ultra settings. Whoa, something was going on there. Wow. This airplane is really, really quiet. Let's turn the volume up. That'll help us out. All right, so it looks like sitting just on the runway here at LaGuardia, we're getting about 30 FPS in ultra settings. All right, let's step it down to the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's go low end. Apply and save, and we'll go back to the sim and let it stabilize here for a little bit. These things climb like a rocket. Oops. So D-Day, you can do things in VR, some trickery in VR to smooth out their frame rate. I use trickery in VR to smooth out my frame rate, and my frame rate for my Oculus headset and X-Plane only has to get to 28. That means I can bring up the rest of the sim and bring my settings up as long as I maintain 28 FPS. There's some asymmetrical time warping and things like that you can do, and that's why I recommend the Oculus Rift Oculus Rift S for X-Plane, because you can do some of that stuff with it. All right, so we're on ultra low settings here in the default, one of the default airplanes, and we're getting low 30 FPS. Just taking a stab in the dark and making totally a comment that's way too early to make, but this stuff makes me worried for when we get things like PMDG aircraft in the sim, because those things, being amazing that they are, ultimately you would think would be heavier on the frame rate than the default aircraft. I know it's early days. This is going to need a lot of polishing up. There's a hell of a lot of optimization to come, so it's probably unfair to say. But when I see stuff like this, it makes me think, yeah, the sim's kind of built for that next generation of PCs, rather than what we've kind of all got sort of mainstream available to us at the moment. Yeah, so from ultra to low end, we're getting, 2 to 4 FPS? Yeah. Yep. All right, let's go up here from general. We'll go to medium now. So we're getting about, 31, 32 FPS. Let's go to medium now. We're just going to sit here on the runway for a second, leave the sim to sort its stuff out. Lewis, what we'll do is we'll get airborne and we'll do another lap around New York again, and we'll bring some weather in and see how it goes. Yeah, turn it up. I say, well, yeah, if you get the same performance or not only a couple of FPS. Yeah, Lewis, we have done it in the Baron. We'll do the similar test here in the 787. All right, so roughly about the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off with our preset that I kind of settled on for the Baron, which is the high end. I was pretty happy with the performance I was getting around New York in the Baron. Full disclosure, a light twin versus a complex or a glass jet. So let's see what the performance looks like when we do the same lap in the 787. I'm just going to let the aircraft, the sim sort itself out here. What do we got here? So we've got to have some flap, chuck some flap out. Okay, maybe we won't. I was wondering if there a setting here that's holding me back from pulling some flap out. Maybe I've got something. That's my reverse toggle. That's my throttles. Maybe I've got something that's holding my flaps forward. Can't pull the flaps out in public, mate. Yes, okay. Thank you. That was it. There we go. Go flaps 10. Auto brake's already on RTO. We'll just have a very cheeky look on the externals before we go. I think this plane looks rather nice. Let's go to the external view here. Very, very pretty. We get far more performance outside, but that's the old standard routine that we're all used to, right? Yeah, but we're used to that routine already, right? We get that in prepared now in FSX. We get higher performance outside the aeroplane. Like, yeah, that's an old routine. We've done that one. Give us better performance inside. Try disabling other traffics. I had like 20 FPS more. Okay, Jello, we will do that. We'll do that after we complete a couple of orbits here, because I do want to maintain the same test here because ideally people are going to want to fly with traffic. So let's try and do a real world scenario here. But yep, we'll definitely do that, because I've heard that it's come up a couple of times today and I definitely want to try it. It's definitely a nice looking cockpit. It's very, very nice for a default plane. It's very, very nice in here. I think this would be very, very nice in VR. Just no depth. Alrighty, let's get rocking and rolling. So we'll get rid of the park brake. Let's go. So that's a nice looking cockpit. Alrighty, let's. Okay, we've got someone down the end of the runway here. We're just going to do an old world flight departure here and depart over the top of them. Actually, we're probably going to go toga this because we are not accelerating very fast. Oh, we're already starting to rotate. Yeah, copy that. All right, let's go. Yep, see you later, buddy. Positive rate, gear up. All right, 23, 26 FPS here. All right, so we're bringing the speed back a little bit. We're going to start our turn to the right, put a bit of trim in. Actually, no, this is fly-by-wire. It should maintain its pitch as we turn to the left here. This is going to be a nice, easy thing to fly around New York. It shouldn't be pulling down on us. Oh, it is. I thought this flew the fly-by-wire system the same as the 777. Or maybe I've got that round the wrong way. Okay, there's New York where we've been before. There's a hell of a lot of people over there that got the exact same idea as us. All right, we're going to level out here. So we're getting about 22 to 25 FPS here. Yeah, I think this is all GPU. I feel like this is all GPU. The 1080 doing? The 1080 is at 35%. You think it's the network at MS that's killing your frame rate? Okay. I'm just going to come out over here, over the Hudson here. Yeah, maybe. Hey, maybe we're right. Maybe the traffic is killing the performance here because the PC is not doing much, is it? All right, let's just go down to ultra. Let's just go down to low end here. So we're getting about 20, 22 FPS, 25 FPS there in the high end. Let's go to low end and just give the sim a second to sort itself out. Can we get to 30 at the basic low end setting? No. Go back to high end. Click apply. Give the sim a second just to sort itself out when we load back in. Santa, hello buddy, welcome to the stream. All right, so it's stabilized about 20 to 25 FPS. All right. Let's go to the settings again and let's turn off the traffic. So real-time online, AI offline, and let's just go to off. We'll turn all the traffic off and see what happens. Sean, you should be in the MFS, the F flight sim category without the X if you want the bigger category, unless this is your choice. Yeah, buddy, I didn't know there was another one. Sorry, I'll fix it up for the next stream. John 2002, hello, buddy, welcome to the stream. Tank 787, there's Tank. Hey, buddy. Should we not see anyone? I thought that was the setting to disable. Is there another setting we need to go? Traffic. So we've got real-time online. Off. Maybe you need to reload. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely try that out. So let's go ahead and we're going to go back to the main menu here. Oh, geez, that'd be nice. Holy hell. Oh no, here comes reality. John 2002, you can. I think there's an option for that, but the base level scenery gets pretty poor. Okay, so world map again. We're going to do from here, flight conditions. So off, okay, all players off, group only, off. Okay, so they are now both off. We're on a preset. We'll do that. Alrighty, let's take off again. We'll go this runway just here. And let's go flying. Disable traffic in data. Yeah, I thought I'd done that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's great to see. Really stirs up a bit of enthusiasm for our hobby, right? Like, it's fantastic. We're going to have we're going to have thousands of new people here, and that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Alrighty, on the deck here in the 787 again, no traffic is on. I'm just going to double check that setting, and under data, we've got live weather multiplayer. Okay, so data. So do we turn it off here? So we turn it off there and off there, perhaps. I thought the F meant that they were unlocked. I thought that was what the F meant. Okay, we're just going to let the sim here settle itself down. Yeah, F is unlocked, no integrated graphics. Yep. All right, what setting are we on? We're on the high-end setting. Yes, we are. Okay, let's go and do our fly again. Oops, we've already got some flap out. I don't know about you guys, but it feels a little bit smoother without any AI traffic, but we'll see how we go. Play full screen. Can't do that. Sorry, no. Alrighty, along we go. She wants to rotate early. She wants to rotate about 20 knots early. Release the stick. Off she lifts straight away. I don't know if that's a 787 quirk. Probably not. It already had the takeoff flaps and everything ready to go, so I just assumed it had already sorted that out. All right, so we're going to do the same sort of orbit here in New York. I feel like there is a slight performance improvement here. We're at the high-end settings that we thought were acceptable in the Baron. They were netting us 45 FPS, so maybe in the Baron we might get a couple more. We need to get over the city here. We'll just keep that turn going. As I look into the turn towards the CBD, there was a pretty big drop there. We're down to 21 FPS, but we seem to be high 20s here at the moment. I feel like it's a little bit smoother. I think it is. I think we've got a couple of FPS by turning all that off. We've taken off from LaGuardia. Yeah. So I think it is a little bit better with that scenery. Sorry, the traffic turned off. Yeah, it's got trees in it too. Fantastic. Hey, that's nice. We got a working HUD. That's hey, extra points for a working HUD. Extra points for a working HUD. Yeah, I'll say it. That's a little bit smoother. So if you have just joined us, we have disabled the traffic in both the general settings before you spawn in, but as well as in the data tab, we've turned it off. And I got to say, I think we've got a couple of extra FPS here. Center, yeah, we can definitely try. Yeah, it's not maxing. It maxes stuff out when loading, but Yeah, there's definitely a limiting factor here. It says it's limited by main thread. So this, for anyone that maybe has just joined us, this information in the top right-hand corner of our screen is provided by enabling developer mode in the settings of FS 2020. And coming down here to display FPS, you get an extra menu across the top. Banana, hello, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the follow. We turn wire mode on. What does that do? Oh, wow. That definitely changes things. This is... yeah, good old wireframe, hey? Should we go outside and see what the aircraft looks like in wireframe? That's an interesting view. Yeah, the avionics are quite taxing, and that's exactly the reason why. We're probably getting a little bit slow here. Let's get a little bit faster. And what we might do is introduce a little bit more weather here. So let's chuck in some broken clouds. Kiko Latin, hello, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the follow. That's overspeed. Hey Johnny, welcome to the stream. The cars are traveling on top of bridges. The weather system does look very, very nice. All right, what other options have we got here? Oh, my sim's locking up here for a second. I don't know if having development mode on is cache or it's logging a shitload of stuff, and every once in a while it does a dump of the log file or something and you pause up. I don't know if anyone else is having that problem, but yeah, every couple of minutes we just have a bit of a lockup, and it's a bit dependent on I guess what's kind of going on, because sometimes it's short and sometimes it's a little bit longer. Have you checked this out in VR? There's no VR support. No VR support. Hey. Did that red... I gotta be seeing things right. I think there's an airport over here, isn't there? I don't know my way around New York too well, so I'm kind of trying to spot the airport here. Doesn't look too good when you zoom in like that. You see lights in the distance? Yep. Yes, I do. Over there, I think I just see it straight ahead there. So we might just head over there. We'll do a bit of a landing here. Check out what the 787's like to land. I haven't landed in 2D for a long time. Oh yeah, we're basically straight lined up with it. It's just there. Excellent. All right, let's get ourselves sorted here a little bit. Chuck some auto brake on. We'll go auto brakes too. You're getting there, Poseidon. You're almost there. Yeah, in bananas, yeah, we definitely can, buddy. Yeah, wow. We go to, wow, we really jumped up there. The usage really jumps up. Go inside and it tanks, which kind of leads me to believe, I wonder if our limiting factor here, well, we really need to do some stuff. We need to do some of that pilot shit. I wonder if we're limited here by CPU, and when none of this is rendering, and we go outside, we're kind of limited. Trying to get my thoughts together here. Let's get all the flaps out. Yeah, and I'm just wondering, does the avionics being 500. Sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate here and gather my thoughts. I think we've got a pretty decent tailwind here pushing us along. We're definitely cruising across the ground without descending very well.
300.
Just keeping it above the red here.
200. 100.
Oh, she's sloppy.
50.
Yeah, we've got a wicked tailwind by looks of it. Like, we're level here.
30.
Really, really slow, and we're just not descending.
20. 10.
Well, at least we know it's not deep here. That was not me trying to do any sort of decent landing at all, guys. It was just get the aircraft on the deck. Main thread is run by the CPU. Yeah, so maybe this, I'm starting to think with the work that they've done in FS 2020, perhaps this is going to really capitalize on a CPU with a lot more threads. So something like, the new Intel CPUs, I don't know whether the AMDs would be much benefit here. They probably would be more benefit if you could get the clock speed up with all those threads. Perhaps we're going to see a real transition away from such a high benefit of a clock speed versus having more threads and more cores. So perhaps this will lend itself to seeing greater performance with more threads and more cores. So I'm really keen to see the benchmarking come out of Flight Sim 2020, where we start to see people running a standard test across a whole stack of CPUs and configurations to really start deep diving what's the best combination for a PC. I might just turn the music down a little bit. Before Flight Sim 2020 came out, a lot of people were talking about, I'm going to go buy a new PC. I want a PC. What do you think these specs will be good and all that sort of stuff. it's probably something you not want to do. You probably want to get the sim in your hands on your current PC, let the community do the grunt work of finding out what works well with the sim, and then go and tailor a PC to those particular specifics if that's what you're trying to build for. I think it's going to be interesting to see what this new grouping of or this new simulator is going to be like with hardware. Looking very much forward to seeing that. Sorry guys, I'm a bit tired today. Didn't have a lot of sleep. Okay, so what I wanted to show you next is some of the scenery building stuff. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, actually, we might go back to the chat, just have a quick chat about it. So guys, we are today talking about Flight Sim 2020, that guy just there. And we've touched on a couple of things today. We've touched on the performance and FPS. We've done, I think, quite a thorough analysis there about the performance of the sim. I chose New York City because it's probably one of the hardest areas to try and get a rocket, hello buddy, to try and render given all the buildings. It looks fantastic, but quite heavy. So I think we've seen the variation in performance there. Frenza, hello buddy, thank you so much for the follow, welcome. So we've seen a variety of performance changes there with the FPS through New York. We've definitely verified that the glass cockpits have a huge hit on performance. For me, this is probably going to be a VFR sim for the next little while until they polish this up. But very keen to see how something like the 3000 series of the Nvidia cards coming out, the new line of CPUs coming out, and seeing what sort of impact that has on Flight Sim 2020. Got to also remember it's early days. It's just been released. There's a hell of a lot of more optimization to come. So while some of us might be a little bit disappointed about performance here and there, this is just the starting point, right? If we take a page from the history books, FSX came out, it was incredibly heavy on the frame rate for the PCs back in the day. I think there was 3 service packs that came out for Flight Sim 20 for FSX, and by the third one, they increased the performance by about 15 to 20%. Hopefully we can get a little bit more than that, but what I'm trying to get at is here, this is just this building blocks and they're going to build on it, and we shouldn't be too worried about the performance to date. If you're going to do a comparison to something like Flight Sim 20, X-Plane, or something like Prepared, got to remember those guys have got real legacy in this space. This is a brand new sim. Yes, it's built off the old architecture, which has been polished up and revitalized, but we've got to give this thing a chance to really grow in its performance numbers. It'll be really interesting, like I said before, to see what role different hardware plays in performance. I will be upgrading my PC this year. It's that year. I've skipped a series of CPUs. I've skipped a series of Nvidia graphics cards, which is how I do it. So I'll be definitely eagle-eyed and looking at what sort of performance people are getting from systems and some of those new technology coming onto the marketplace in the next couple of months. So stay tuned and watch out for that. We've had a look at the weather. We've gone through the settings. We've had a bit of a look at the performance decrease. Not so bad, actually. I expected more performance decrease from volumetric clouds. Definitely something like that in X-Plane at the moment. Even in Vulkan, really rips it apart. That's a bit of an unfair comparison, but I was surprised when we put the clouds in, and we shaved off maybe 1 or 2 FPS, but in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing too heavy. The time zone, I think the time zone actually, depending on the night, I think night actually maybe gave us a couple of frame rate back. Definitely didn't have a huge adverse effect that I was kind of thinking it would have. So that's another tick in my box. So looking pretty good there as well. In terms of the other settings, the controls and setting controls and custom buttons and all that sort of stuff, I think is a little bit finicky. I think there's a couple of extra clicks that you just don't need. In the same way as the camera system, they've tried to come up with a really great system, and by doing that, they've complicated it. X-Plane's got a great camera system, and I'm sorry to reference X-Plane, guys. If you're watching this and you're a diehard FSX or Prepared fan, I was too. I jumped ship to X-Plane a little while ago, but X-Plane's got some really fantastic, easy to use camera systems in it. And that's something I think is really missing as well. Deep beside, and you can turn off that outside HUD in the settings there as well, the camera settings. Sim UG, hello buddy, welcome to the stream. Hello, how you going? Okay, let's move on to behind the scenes. So we've had a look at a little touch on where the settings are located, where I've installed it. You can install it to a custom location, and you can change your location for your rolling cache. And now we're going to move into the dev tools and the SDK. So I have just lightly touched on all this stuff myself when I've been playing with it the half an hour before the stream, but we're going to probably learn a couple of things together when we go and have a look at the SDK now and have a bit of a look at it. Sammy, what will you use in the future? Well, definitely a 3000 series GPU. The 3090s caught my eye. I'm hoping that AMD can slide in their GPU somewhere there and claw Nvidia back from doing a price hike again. These GPUs Nvidia really needs some competition in this space. So hopefully AMD can play well there and pull down the price of that stuff. But at the moment, the 3090 is kind of probably where it's going to be for me. In terms of the CPU, the jury is still out on that front though. Buff, you can pre-cache scenery by loading the flight plan. So I'll show you that right now. Let's go ahead and jump back into the sim. So I'm pretty sure that, say if you want to do a flight from LaGuardia to Calax, for example, go there. There's your flight there. You can see just there, and that is the live satellite weather too, guys. If anyone's wondering, that is live satellite weather. You can change the filter there, and you can change it to a couple of different things. IFR, you can change the cloud layers, precipitation, and things like that. That is download. You can put the winds on and things like that. Turn your friends list. That is all live weather, which is really, really cool. We'll get rid of that. But back to your original question there, if you want to preload some of that scenario, I believe if you do a flight plan and you just load a high altitude flight plan or something like that, I believe when you click fly, it starts to download the scenery for the route from what I've been able to see. If anyone thinks that's wrong, please feel free to comment. But from my initial testing, that looks to be what's kind of going on here at the moment. Okay, so what I want to do is have a look at the scenery development tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear our route here. So we're going to reset our route. We're going to change our plane. We're just going to put ourselves in something like the Cirrus here, and we'll put ourselves at LaGuardia again. But what we might do is we might zoom right in here. And we'll just chuck ourselves off to the side of the ramp here at a gate or something like that. Alrighty, and we'll go ahead and click fly. Apple Bravo, hello buddy, welcome to the stream. Okay, so we're going to start to have a bit of a fiddle with the scenery development tools. A little caution from me, I've played with them for about 30 seconds before the stream. I've just found them. I don't know much about them. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a window here, a Chrome window. What did we have there? We had Gravedigger. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so turning developer mode on will give you a whole bunch of extra stuff in the sim. You can already see that top-down menu that you can see that you won't normally see in the sim. You can get to the SDK tools by going to where is it? Options? No, Windows, Help, SDK documentation, and you've got the SDK installer is there. You go click on that guy and you'll start the SDK installer, and you can install the SDK tools for things like 3D Studio Max and all the other stuff there as well. They give you some samples to play with and a couple of videos in and around audio as well. We'll click fly now and just sit here in the lovely Cirrus, which is not looking too bad at all. We've got a really nice Cirrus for X-Plane here at the moment. So I'm just lightly comparing it in my head. As you can see here, we're getting like 60 FPS while it's loading and doing some things. We're getting 40 to 60 FPS here. I think it's obviously the sim still loading in, but you can see a vast improvement in performance by getting out of the 787. Yeah, a blender plugin as well, absolutely. Yeah, wow, we're up to 65 FPS there. Look at how smooth that is now. Now that we're out of... oh, hello, buddy. And now that we're out of the 787. What program do you use for the bottom right? We're using FPS Monitor, a licensed version of FPS Monitor. Alrighty, let's have a look at our development tools. So, like I said before, when you go to get to your development tools in the SDK, go to your general settings, and down the very bottom you've got a developers button there. You turn that on, up will come the menu across the top that you can see just there. If you want to turn something like the FPS Monitor I've got on, my share mouse, just press the wrong button there. Under options, you've got display FPS as well. You can also set a couple of other little cool things. You can just set your time of day straight from here in the sim just by using the slider just here, which is really, really nice. There's some cameras as well, and that's a sim crash. Our first sim crash of the night. Let's go ahead and load the sim back up. Sim crash number 1. Hey, Ducky, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I dare say they're definitely better than what they were in the 787. It's going to load the sim up. So that's our first crash of the night. Charlie is behind me asleep. All right, just need to drag this over to the corner of the center of my screen here. There we go. Is Charlie hyped for the new sim? He looks about the same he always does, asleep. How are you launching the sim? I heard there were some issues launching through the store. Alpha Bravo, it's in my start menu. I'm just going to Flight Sim in the start menu, just typing in Flight Sim. Hey, Ducky. Ducky, let's go say hello. Ducky, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Follow. Well. Thank you for continuing your Fight and Flight Club subscription. You can tell I'm getting tired. It's been a bit of a rough sleep for me last night, and I'm very much appreciative of the support, mate. I got Charlie and Millie right here behind me. They're just fast asleep. Just here, got Millie and Charlie just there. I don't like to wake them up when they're asleep, as Millie's actually just eyeballing the fuck out of me. Charlie, you ready? Ready, Charlie? Yeah, he's asleep. Alrighty, let's get the sim loaded. You paid $40 for Charlie. Wow, if only that was true. Look at that, 595 FPS. What a problem to have. I have too many FPS. Also linked to OnlyFans. Yeah, if only I was that good looking. Can you find Flight Sim in the Nvidia control panel? Robbie, no, it's a really good point. I am running, in a reminder to everyone, I am running the Nvidia driver for Flight Sim 2020, and I cannot find it. Reminder those guys there is the specs for the system, obviously explained just there. Microsoft, what do we got here? So Microsoft Gaming Overlay, Microsoft Phone, Word, PC settings, Shell Experience Host, text inputs. I'm not seeing anything here about Flight Sim 2020. You are seeing a lot of the games I've got installed as well, though. Yeah, so there's nothing in that menu. Even with using the driver, there's still nothing there. Alrighty, we're back in the main menu. Let's go back to LaGuardia and try it all again. So go there. The flight conditions, we're just going to drag it out to daylight. And yeah, the Cirrus is fine. Go back to the world map. We'll plug ourselves over this side over at ramp 101 for parking, and we'll go ahead and fly now. Yeah, Senator King, it's all early days, right? This is the start of a brand new sim. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's a really good building block to start. I would have liked a little bit of better. I would have liked better performance in the jets. But it's coming, right? Was that Flight Simulator? Was that in under Microsoft Edge? Hey, Chad. Let's go back and have a quick look while we load in. Okay. Microsoft Edge, MSI Afterburner, Publisher, Netflix, and Chill. No. Up. All right. You see it? What? Hey, right there. Microsoft Flight Simulator. I have looked. I've checked that for ages. Well, there you go. There is a setting. Threaded optimization, vertical sync, adapted half the refresh rate. Maybe we can do some fancy stuff like that. We'll save that for another video. Getting some far better performance there. We're at the fuel pump. Okay. Yep. Cool. All right. Alrighty, so dev mode. So a quick reminder to anyone that's just joined us, development mode you get from the settings. If you'd escape general and go to developer down the bottom and turn it on, you'll get this menu across the top. Get a whole bunch of fancy stuff, but the SDK documentation is a good place to start and download the SDK installer. The documentation has a host of stuff in it about launching the tool, cameras, scenery objects, airports, and it's still growing. I think this is all hosted locally. They talk about SimConnect, how to get SimConnect to work. But the thing we're kind of interested in is the scenery editor for me. I'm kind of keen to get cracking and polish up some of these airports, which are a bit interesting here. So I haven't done any of this. I'm going to save this for a dedicated stream where I'm going to go through and do all of it. But I guess we're just going to have a little bit of a look and a bit of a fiddle here right now. Okay, so BP Jet A1, roger that. Okay, so what we might do, the developer camera is here. It allows you to do some things like just use your mouse wheel to zoom up and out. And just do some other stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to get to do with the cameras. They literally just allow you to quickly zoom around. Maybe we can zoom in here and have a look at some of the scenery here. So the developer camera. Yeah, welcome to New York, everyone. All right. I don't know about you, but what was that Will Smith movie where the virus and he's walking through, is it New York? What is that Will Smith movie? He's got his dog. I Am Legend, that's it. It's the first thing that reminded me of that movie. Yeah, okay. Let's zoom out a little bit. Can you drive around in a Dodge Challenger? So it definitely looks better from at least this height. Definitely looks better. Definitely getting some really nice FPS here as well. We might just chuck some cloud in here and just make it a little bit more sensual. Look at that. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, we're back. The noose is tightening on the sim. Chud, I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. This water looks good. The water looks great. Is nighttime any good? Well, what we might do is we might just go up here. I'm just going to climb up here, guys. Just give me a second and we'll look back down at New York. Oh, wow. Might just plot ourselves over here a little bit. We might... There we go. Pull that up a little bit. So that's your night lighting here. Hey Mary, welcome to the stream. I understand now why it's called Flight Simulator. All vehicles are flying. All right, let's get back out of here. We'll go back to daylight mode. Can I turn the developer camera off? Yes, and we're back here. I swear I didn't pick up the aeroplane then. Okay. All right, so we have got a slew mode as well. Does everyone remember the good old slew mode? You used to do this we don't want to go that way. You used to use hit Y by accident and prepared in FSX and have your joystick a little bit to the left and you end up teleporting yourself to the next suburb. You've got slew mode here in the development tools to use that. We're just going to turn off slew mode here because we're going to end up in trouble. Developer camera settings, transit, rotational stuff. Okay. How do you go up? Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not too sure. I'm taking a hot ass warthog. They're fantastic. They're fantastic sticks. So I don't know what that translates to in my currency. Or just press Y in the sim. Does that actually do it as? Oh yeah, there you go. You can. It's the same thing. I didn't think that was standard. There you go. I didn't think that was standard in the sim. Okay, so what else have we got here? We've got a console with a shitload of errors in it. So this is all part of the developer stuff, I guess, that if you were interested in any of this stuff, you got some warnings, some errors, ignored, create visibility without a valid node reference. So you've obviously got all that. I'm wondering if this is stuff that's getting dumped and pausing my sim while we're in development mode, but who knows? Aircraft selector. All right. Can we just load on the fly? Oh, there we go. Yes, we can. Just turn the volume down there a little bit. Okay, you've got that selector. What else? You've got a teleport window, user lights, and a ruler. I don't know how any of that kind of works, but that's okay. Alrighty, let's have a look at the scenery editor. So what we're going to do is we're going to go new project, and I'm just going to type, my project, that'll work. Okay, so we've got a project open. If we go to options, no, can't. We're only getting 10 FPS with that window open. We might close that. See you later, alligator. Can we close that? Okay, my sim's locked up. I'll just wait for that. Hopefully the sim doesn't crash. It might be early days to do stuff like this in the sim. Bueller? 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 I think it's cooked. I think it's minced. Okay, that's our set. Oh. Yeah, okay, that was our second sim crash. We definitely broke it. Hey, kid. All right, let's load up our sim for the third time. Okay, so basically here we go as part of the scenery editor section. I'm very keen to look at this. I'm going to do some reading after the stream tonight. But basically what I wanted to show you was a little bit of top-down scenery editing using some of this menu here. It definitely looked a lot easier in some of the preview videos they showed. But basically, in a nutshell, from what I can tell, you actually build all your scenery in the sim. You don't build anything outside the sim in an outside editor or anything like that. It's all just built live in the sim, which is really quite cool. Mary, what's going on? What have they? What have we missed? Ducky, yeah. Hey, buddy. All right, let's get the sim loading up again. Ducky, maybe not today. Does Orbis have plans on fixing Melbourne Sydney soon? Hey Ben, yeah, the buildings aren't great, are they? Not too sure. I actually fixed up the Melbourne in X-Plane, and I'm thinking if I can wrap my head around the scenery design from the SDK, which I've kind of been having a little bit of a look through here, maybe that's something I could start working on as a bit of a side feature. Because yeah, I'm a big fan of Melbourne. But the thing is, I don't think we've got any libraries that we can use other than borrowing from what's in the sim. There's no custom libraries or anything yet, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, but things like Melbourne needs some work. Sydney looks pretty good now. Brisbane has no 01 left, 019 right. So from what I've been able to understand, the satellite imagery that they've used in the sim is approximately 3 years old. We validated that with going and seeing some of people's houses that are 3 years old and are just construction sites. So I think I read somewhere that they're talking about introducing updates to the satellite data every 21 days or something like that, which will be astronomical if they can do that. Yeah, I'm a little bit curious as why they haven't done it already. But look, we'll see. Speaking of Melbourne, hey buddy, yes, you'll get some food soon. We might go to Melbourne now. I'm having some troubles there at LaGuardia, and we might just have a little bit of a look here at seeing some of the scenery stuff just there. So we might go Melbourne. We'll go zoom to details, and we might just chuck ourselves down here at ramp or gate 9, I think that is, and we'll go for a bit of a fly there. Yeah, I think you know you're right. It's we need some more bridges. There's no Gateway Bridge in Brisbane, which is a VFR turning point for 01 right. There's no Story Bridge in Brisbane, which is something to crawl across after a late night out drinking. So we're missing, and there's no Sydney Harbour Bridge. They did the Opera House, but they didn't do the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Oh, yeah, Leroy, you're probably right. All right, let's go for a bit of a fly. Let's go for a bit of a look here. We might go to that developer camera real quick here and just go up here and have a look at Melbourne and all its lack of glory here, and just look down on Melbourne just here. So actually, I might go a little bit higher up here. Yeah, that's exactly right. How can they have Sydney without the coat hanger? So there you go. There's Melbourne, the satellite scenery for Melbourne looking a little bit rough though, but they've got obviously the golf course just there, and they've got a lot of the terrain contours, which is the main thing. But there's a fairly decent height variation between the touchdown point of 3-4 and some of the other parts of the airport. On face value, everything's kind of where it's meant to be. You know, there's obviously the terminal I put into X-Plane just here. This terminal here, this is the freight area just here, but obviously no detail, no great detail. And if we zoom in here and have a look at some of the ground textures, yeah, they're okay. You can see that they've removed an aircraft just here. There's the tail. There's the wings of the aircraft. They've removed an aircraft from here as well. So they look like, I guess, stains from stuff dripping off the aircraft when it rains, kind of almost. So they've done a pretty good job to hide it. Kurto, welcome to the stream, buddy. It's a crime scene. An airplane was killed there. That's a good way of looking at it. I hadn't thought about that. So what we might do is we might just come out down here a little bit and have a look at some of the height elevations around runway 34. Hey. Hey, Ben. Thanks so much, Ben, for the follow. Welcome to the stream, brother. So as you can see, for the Aussies here, there's a nice big gully here and a road that takes you up to Keilor and to Burnside Heights and a couple of other places as well. So it gets quite sunken down here through the valley here, and then you've got the touchdown point of runway 34 just here. So there's no sort of sideways slew with this camera, so I've got to kind of point in the direction I want to go and then sort of turn the camera back around. So you can see there's Melbourne from another angle just there. So definitely some work to be done in fixing up Melbourne. I think half of the battle is going to be trying to, I guess, find where all their like bits and pieces are for their scenery. So like witches' hats and cars and tugs and editing pushback zones and all that sort of stuff to try and bring a little bit more life to quite a desolate Melbourne here. It's not very exciting in its current form at all. But you know, nonetheless, it is what it is. So let's go look back to our project, new project, project editor. Let's go project, new project. We're just going to call it, I don't know, Melbourne. Let's start and see what happens. We'll click OK. Awesome. That's what we wanted. Oops, we don't want to close it. What do we got here? So we've got tools, scenery editor. Okay, so it looks like the scenery editor is done all from inside the sim. So wow. Okay, that's interesting. We've gone to the scenery editor now, and Sorry guys, my performance is totally tanking here. There's definitely some issue with dragging these screens off out of the hub or the window of Flight Sim. It doesn't like to have the screens touch the side of the Flight Sim window at all. If we zoom out, there's the scenery we see in the sim. If we zoom in, it disappears and you get the satellite overlay. I guess they do that to build up or use as a reference point when you're building the scenery. There are no taxiway signs. How are you supposed to know where you're in without a chart? That's exactly right. It's everyone flying the game rather than sitting for them to get every detail perfect. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's interesting. This is obviously where you can zoom in and put things in that you might need. Okay, so what do we got here? Can we go ahead and put something in? So we've got a couple of buildings. Can we search for light post or light airport approach light, airport light, high mast? Can I click and drag that in or something like that? Oh, add. Ah, there we go. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, guys. Develop a camera. Sorry to have all this stuff on the window in the middle of the screen too, guys. It's just how it likes to. Okay, so what can we do here? We can drag it around and place it on top of stuff. Yep, that's that axis there. That's going to be that axis just there. So you're actually building it in the simulator live. You're not going to some external program and then importing it in and loading up the sim. That's cool. I feel like the camera controls are going to get really freaking annoying here. If you hang on to Alt, you get different options. Okay, so that's pretty cool. You can add light towers. You got approach lighting, bridges, fences, runway approach lighting, taxi lights, approach tower, water approach. Yep. Okay. What else do we want? Is there like static aircraft or something? There's an aircraft carrier. There's a belt loader. Okay, let's chuck a belt loader in and see what that looks like. Oh, yep. There's your belt loader. See if I can drag this stuff over here a little bit out of the way. Whoops. Yes, I know you don't like to be there. Okay, there's a belt loader. So I guess that's how you're putting stuff in. I don't know how to save that or export that to share it. That's going to be really interesting. Really interesting to see how that works. Okay. What did I do there? Aha, middle mouse button allows you to do things like change the axis up and down. Yeah. And then you can rotate as well. Okay, so we can place objects. Okay. Scenery, what do we got here? World scripts, we've got polygons, FX, helipads, taxiway points, aprons, jetways, lights, light supports. No. Tower. No, I don't know what any of that sort of stuff is. Airport overview, scenery. American Airlines Arena. Oh, wow. Okay, yep. There's the American Airlines Arena. Yep, okay. Is it just as easy as delete stuff? Yep, yeah, it is. Are there helicopters in FS 2020? No, there are not. There are no helicopters in FS 2020 as yet. What else have we got here? Have we got plane showcase, hangar, ground, overview, plane hangar. Okay, that doesn't look to be anything that interesting. Plane showcase cockpit. Well, I think that's something different. We got 737s. Oh, no, we don't. Have we got 747s? Yeah, 747-8i. Let's go ahead and add that in. Doesn't look like it's loading. Okay. I might try that other one. Does that work as well? Maybe they're player aircraft or something like that, and that doesn't work. Gate Arch, Golden Gate Bridge. Oh, wow. Yep. Well, at least the Golden Gate Bridge is in Flight Sim 2020. Wow, it spans the whole length of Melbourne Airport. Maybe I'll just replace the Sydney Harbour Bridge with the Golden Gate Bridge for now. Oh dear, let's get rid of that. Actually, it's funny. If we go bridge, I wonder if we can find the bridge that's in the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know what the bridge is actually called. I'm just wondering if we can find a bridge that looks like it, because there's a bridge in New York that looks like the bridge, the coat hanger. And I'm just wondering if we find that bridge, if I can go put it in and then we can just use that. Manhattan Bridge, here we go. No, that's not going to be it. I have no idea what the bridge is called. Does anyone know what the bridge is called in Hell's Gate Bridge? That's it, Hell's Gate Bridge. Thanks, mate. Oh, there is one. Oh no. Oh no, it's not named. Gateway Arch, Golden Gate. Maybe it's the gate. Maybe it's this. Oh no, it's not that. Manhattan Bridge Base, Big Center, Little Middle. No, it's not there. It's going to be here. We just don't know what it's called. The Denver Bridge. Oh, getting closer. That's getting closer to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I feel like we're on the right path. We're definitely getting warmer. Oh, I think we've done the Manhattan Bridge before. Yeah, it's definitely not the Manhattan Bridge. The name of that bridge on Bing, yeah, it was the Hell's Gate Bridge or something, but we've searched for it and can't find that here. Lakeshore Bridge. No. Oakland Bay Bridge? No. Rio Bridge? No. Sydney Bridge, 01. Oh, that's disappointing. That's the bridge over the road. That's the taxiways over Sydney Airport. Ugh. Telluride Bridge? No. Test Bridge blocking? No. Oh, that's over in the UK. Traffic Golden Gate Bridge. No. What bridge are you looking for? We're looking for the bridge it's called Hell's. It's the Hell's Bridge, New York. There it is. We just want to get the Hell's Bridge. Brady, this is FS 2020. We're just in the scenery design tool. So I think you can agree that that's a baby Sydney Harbour Bridge, but we're just trying to find it in the list here. Bridge of the Americas. It's not going to be. Oh, it's a very common bridge style. Try East River Arch. East, we'll go East. No, Arch. No. Gateway Arch. No. No. The Arch Hong Kong. It's not going to be that. Yeah, they dead set did copy us. What was the other thing? Steel Arch or steel? Yeah, okay. Construction steel frame. I don't think that's it. Hey Willow, welcome to the stream, buddy. We're just playing with the scenery creation tools for Flight Sim 2020. Can we click on stuff that's already here? No. Okay. You can build airports in the actual sim. You don't have to go to other software. You can build it all here in the sim. Ah. No. No. Couch level sim. Ooh. No, Kurto. That's a negative, mate. The Denver Bridge. I feel like we've done the Denver Bridge. Yeah, the Denver Bridge is just a concrete slab. The Dubai Bridge we've already done as well. That's a Manhattan Bridge base. Manhattan Bridge start, middle. We've done that. Sydney Bridge, Test Bridge, Tower Bridge. Did you try New York Connecting Railway Bridge? No, I didn't. Is that here in the list? Manhattan Bridge? No, it's that one. Was that in the list? Yeah, Brady, they are starting to pull it all together. Yeah, I think we're kind of done for finding a replacement bridge anytime soon, guys. We just there's just not one here in the list. Open a project. Apex layout. I don't know what all this stuff is. Whoa. I don't know what we just opened there, but I don't know. The CNC bridge. Yeah, so that's definitely going to need a little bit of work. I will do a stream dedicated to going through this information here and see if we can come up with doing maybe a little bit of a trial airport. We'll pick one of the small regional airports in Australia and just see if we can build it out and see if we can make it look a little bit better than how it already is. But a lot of information here in the SDK. Interesting to see what they do about polygons and adding water and things like that. Be interesting to work all that stuff out as well. Alrighty. Okay, guys, well, let's have a little bit of a wrap up and a review here. So we have had a look at the performance as well in the sim, and we've gone through that. We've had a look at the weather and settings. I've taken you behind the scenes and show you where all the settings live, and we've had a look at the dev tools and touched on the SDK. That's going to be it for this stream tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully I've given you a bit of a different look or given you an opportunity to take some things away if you're on the fence about Flight Sim 2020. If you're or you've got Flight Sim 2020, come here, Mill. If you've got Flight Sim 2020 and you're looking at what sort of settings you might have while you're sitting here waiting for the download to finish, I hope you found it enjoyable. In terms of the next streams, we are back tomorrow with more of Sleep and Mill here while we do our first group flight. So we'll be doing our first group flight. All are welcome to attend. You can find information about that on the Discord, which I'll link in the link just there. We've got the that one as well. No, I don't think that's working either. Yes, it is. A quick reminder, my YouTube available over there. You can see a whole host of other content as well. In terms of the streaming for this week, group flight tomorrow, and we were going to be flying the 787 on VATSIM on Thursday. Given how it went today in the 787 and some of the performance issues that people are having with SimConnect, I'm a little bit concerned that might not be achievable. We'll see how it goes. If they fix that between now and then, we might look at it. Otherwise, we might do a dedicated scenery building stream. I'll see how it goes. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it from me. Before we do wrap up, I just want to say a very quick shout out to the following people, if I can get rid of that. Oh, wow, that just crashed. Excellent. My little list there just crashed. Sorry, guys, 1 second. I want to say a very warm thank you to the resubs. So we had Savage from yesterday. In terms of resubs today, rather, we had Ducky. Thanks for the sub, buddy. I really appreciate Aussie68 coming in there. I want an honest review, please, Kappa. Yep, that's definitely what you got. Tank787, thank you as well. In terms of all the new followers, wow, there's a stack there to thank, but I might leave that for another time. Just to say thank you so much for the follow. In terms of this stream now, I think we're pretty much done. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks, don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.